We'll start with invocation prayer Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 12. We'll chant the first 5 verses.
Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktastvām Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshyamano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Te Me Yuktatamamataha Ye Tvaksharamanirveshyam Avyaktam Paryupasate Sarvatra Gamachintyam Cha Kutasthamachalam Dhruvam Sanniyam Yendriyagramam Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha Te Prapnuvanti Mameva Sarvabhutahite Rataha Kleshodhikatarastesham Avyaktasaktachetasam Avyaktahigatir dukkham Dehavadbhiravapyate.
So last week we started the study of the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. So, how to use devotion to evolve spiritually? How to use path of devotion to merge with God, to merge with Supreme Reality? So, what is that technique? So, that's the chapter all about. And it has 20 verses, and we went through the topic summary. There are 3 topics, and it's a relatively small chapter. There are 20 verses, and we covered verse number 1 last week, if I'm not mistaken, right? So just to recap the main points in the first verse. So the translation reads, Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Arjuna asked Krishna, thus those ever steadfast devotees who worship you, meaning form, and also those who worship the imperishable without the form. So he is looking at Krishna as a form, as a guru. So in that context, form. Which of these are best versed in yoga? So it's a perennial question which has been, a lot of people have this question. Like, do I need a form to grow spiritually, or do I not need a form? So Arjuna is clarifying with Krishna. So last week we had a in-depth discussion that idol or form is necessary for spiritual initiates. So you cannot say form is not required. Also, you cannot say, you have to have formless worship. It depends on your level of spiritual growth. It's not one is superior, other person is inferior. There is no such thing. Are you at that level? So if you are a spiritual beginner, then definitely form is required for you in some way or the other. It would be symbols, it could be rituals, it's all same. But you are supposed to grow out of it. That is important. Most people, they just hang on to the form idol whole life. They have absolutely no concept of what does it mean. So idol is, I repeat, idol is necessary, form is necessary for spiritual initiates. But with the understanding that idol represents the ideal. Idol is not the ideal. That is where the problem starts. People, they get attached to the gurus, the murtis, the rituals, the structure, all that. So idol stands for the ideal. Ideal is supreme reality or God. But idol is not the ideal. So that's the main point. And you are supposed to grow out of it. So to discard an idol is absurd for spiritual beginners. Also to hang on to an idol is equally absurd. So though people need an idol, spiritual initiates, since they have no concept of it represents an ideal, whole life they just hang on to the idol. So it defeats the whole purpose. And then we discussed, idol could be any. So basically world is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. So you could pick up idol from any of these elements, and that's what you see in the world. All religions, they have made use of these elements. Earth is very easy to understand. It's like a structure. It could be a temple, it could be a church, it could be a deity in a temple. Water, we discussed, is used in practically all religions. Fire is again used. Air is used. And space, Om, sound is associated with space. So, but the principle is same. And another aspect is, see, Arjuna is asking the question, do I need a form or do I not need a form? So what does it mean? So there is a psychology there. He's asking, and it's a relevant question. He's asking to a guru that, do I need a form or do I not need a form? So can you please tell me? I need that clarity. So what is the psychology there?
He needs a form.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is not advanced yet.
Veera is saying he needs the form. So what's the psychology here? Those are online. Anybody wants to try?
Spiritually, Arjuna is not as evolved. He's a beginner, is struggling with the decision making as to how to approach.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
He wants to do the correct things, so he wants Krishna to tell him what to do. He's confused.
Mm-hmm. Correct. He is confused. Answer, all these are correct answers. That confusion is coming from what?
Is it because he has his relatives, the grandparents, the cousins in front of him, and he's seeing that form and he's getting confused with what is the right thing to do versus he has his relatives standing in front of him and the right thing at that time seems to be to kill them?
No, that is correct. It's a different context. It's a very specific question. Arjuna is asking, do I need a form or do I not need a form? Idol. See, the fact that he is asking the question, it means he needs an idol. Period. There are 2 openings in GM, General Motors. One is for the position of a head of the department in finance. In the same department, finance department, there is an opening for an intern. And if somebody asks this question, your friend comes and he asks, this question. Should I apply for internship or should I apply for the position of the head of the department?
Internship.
Hmm?
Internship.
Why?
Because head of the department will never ask that question.
Correct. Excellent. Anybody who's of that caliber, will he ask that question? I'm confused, Internship is okay for Tejo, who is 21 years old. We all have gone through that. But will Tejo's father, will Veera say, like, I'm debating between, he's getting all the offers in the world. Should I apply for internship or should I apply for HOD? If he asks that question, I will say internship. Definitely. Yeah, he hasn't asked that question. So any person of the caliber of who has reached this, who has evolved, who is not at the level of form, he cannot ask that question. So the fact that Arjuna is asking that question, it means he needs form, he needs an idol. So that's the psychology. So Arjuna is nothing but you and I. So these were the main points in the first verse. Now let's find out what Krishna is saying. Verse number 2, please.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये माम् नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये माम् नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः।
Translation. Those ever steadfast who, fixing mind on me, worship me endowed with supreme Shraddha, faith, them do I consider best in yoga. So we'll understand step by step what he's saying. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, fix your mind on me, you need a form. There is no doubt about it. And then he qualifies that statement by saying, it is my opinion. So that's the main point. If you miss it, then most 99.99% people, they miss this because they quote this verse and they point out Krishna is saying that you need an idol, you need a form. The word here is mataha, the last word. Mata means opinion. I consider best in yoga, it is my opinion. Now, opinion is different from Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma meaning eternal truth. So, Krishna's advice to Arjuna that you need a form is not an all-time truth. Are you with me? Why it is not an all-time truth? It is meant for Arjuna only, or people who are at Arjuna's level. I mean, if you are a spiritual initiate, even relatively speaking, then definitely you need a form. But that is not an all-time truth. There are people who don't need the form. And same Krishna elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, it demolishes idol worship. He said, what this? You don't need all this thing. You don't need me. If you consider me, in the human form as supreme, you're an ignorant person. But there he is talking to the general audience. He is educating the humanity. So therefore, this advice that you need a form is Krishna's opinion, which is meant for who? For spiritual initiates. So therefore, it is not an all-time truth. So that has to be noted. And a highly evolved person doesn't need a form. Why he doesn't need a form? Because form or idol is to inspire you, to think of the divinity, to think of God, think of supreme reality. So if you are already at that level, why do you need a reminder? Why do you need an idol? Isn't it? See, a soldier who is fighting for his country, he's on the war front. Now, he is willing to sacrifice his life for the nation. He like complete awareness of the nation. He is far beyond the need to hoist a national flag. He's fighting a war, and back home everybody is cheering, okay, whatever, they're supporting him. See, he doesn't have time for all these symbols. He may respect all that, but personally he does not need that. So similarly, highly evolved person, he respects idols, he respects places of worship. He is not against it, but personally he does not need that. Now, that doesn't mean he will not go to a church or a temple or a mosque. I mean, sometimes he may choose to. Maybe his family wants him to go, or maybe there is some some program there for which he is invited. But as far as he is concerned, he does not need an idol, he does not need a form, because he is already inspired. But definitely Arjuna is not at that level, so he needs an idol to remind himself of the ideal. See, I am repeating, it's a very subtle concept. But if without an idol, straight away if you can think of the ideal, the supreme reality, then why do you need the idol? So temple, church, mosque, all these rituals, various symbols, they are nothing but a reminders. Reminder of who you really are, what's your ultimate mission in life. So therefore the next statement he says, those who worship me, nitya yuktaha, ever steadfast, those who worship me. So any worship or a prayer by default is 24/7. It cannot be part-time, pastime. So you go to a temple, you go to a church, you go to any place of worship. Yes, it reminds you of the supreme reality. But you are supposed to carry that reminder, that fixation 24/7 throughout your life, throughout your day. So therefore we are saying prayer or worship is not a part-time pastime. It is a full-time awareness of the supreme reality of what's your purpose in life. So once you get that fixation, how you get that fixation? So a devotee who needs a form, by seeing that idol or a form, he gets that fixation. It's a reminder. But a person who has risen above the form or an idol, by knowledge, by thinking, by study, by reflection, he gets that fixation. So therefore we are saying worship is full-time awareness of the truth. It is not a part-time pastime. So it is a fixation on the higher. Your thoughts are firmly planted on higher, in layman's language, God, or what's your ultimate purpose in life. And then you carry on with your day-to-day activities. Doesn't matter where you are, at home, at work, you may be in a party, you may go on a vacation, but you don't lose sight of your ultimate purpose in life. So how do you get that fixation is the question. So a spiritual initiate, he gets that fixation by an idol or a form. A person who is evolved spiritually, he gets the same fixation of the higher by his study, by his reflection, by contemplation, by this knowledge. And once you get that fixation, you become objective in life. And once you are objective, you become successful in whatever you do. See, otherwise you are bogged down by life's challenges, and life is nothing but challenges. You may have a challenge at home, you may have a challenge at work, you may have a challenge in the society, but if your thoughts are planted on the higher, you rise above these challenges in life. So the word which we use is objectivity. Your intellect is developed to control your emotions. And once you are objective, you are successful, you remain above challenges. So that's the actual outcome of having that fixation. See, you can't tell this to animals. By comparison, I'm giving you that comparison. It becomes very easy. Animals are bogged down by challenges because they don't have that capacity to plant their thoughts on the higher. isn't it? You and I have that capacity. So how do you plant your thoughts on the higher? You may do it with the form, that's what a devotee does, but a jnani does it by knowledge, by his study, by his reflection, by his contemplation. And once you get that fixation, you become objective in life. And once you're objective, you are productive, you are successful. You develop that capacity to face challenges of life. And then he makes a fascinating statement. It's a quality, in fact. Those who fix their thoughts on me, endowed with supreme Shraddha. So what is this Shraddha? So Shraddha is nothing but faith. In the spiritual context, this word is often used. But it is not blind faith. See, all of you are attending these classes. Some of you have been attending these sessions for a long time. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Kavita, how long? At least 15 years? I think you are one of the first students when we started in Troy, right? 15 years approximately. Yeah. It's a long time, doesn't matter, right? When I say Kavita, I mean Raj also is included, all of you are included. So why is Kavita coming here for 15 years? I'm not just to start some discussion. Why Makarand is attending for last 15 years? So why Devendra ji attending for last 15 years? Though he left Detroit, you're in Atlanta now, but still he is there. So why all of you are attending these sessions is my question. I'm trying to explain Shraddha, it becomes easy. Is it a blind faith? It could be blind faith, but in this context, for this audience, I don't think so, right? So it's a faith, but it's not blind faith. What is a faith? Yes, the speaker maybe is competent. He represents Swamiji, who is a highly evolved person. He has produced spiritual literature. So what we are transacting is genuine knowledge. So that's the faith. Without that faith, none of you will be attending this session. Day after day, year after year. But how many of you have Shraddha? Is the question. So your Shraddha, it begins with faith, which is not blind faith, I repeat. When the true faith is backed by logic and reason, then only it is faith, otherwise it is superstition. So your spiritual journey starts with faith. Yes, this institution, this person, this guru, he has the capacity to guide me. You have that faith in him or her. But how many of you have Shraddha? So Shraddha is your capacity to put consistent efforts till it brings about transformation in your personality. Can you show it on the screen? So Shraddha, the English translation is faith, but it's more than faith. So that's what we are trying to understand. So Shraddha begins with faith, and faith is not a blind faith. Faith which is backed by logic and reason. It is backed by your intellect. But that is only beginning of your spiritual journey. So your spiritual journey begins with faith. It continues with consistency of your efforts, no excuses. You're consistent. And it ends with transformation of your personality. See, I repeat, your spiritual journey begins with faith. It continues with consistency of efforts, not sporadic efforts. And you keep on putting efforts till it brings about, the knowledge brings about the transformation of your personality. Right now you have knowledge, all of us have knowledge, it's a question of more or less. So you continue your study and reflection, your efforts, and you do not relax, you don't let go till that knowledge is transferred into wisdom. So most people, they remain with knowledge. That's the difference. They are sincere, all of you are sincere. So therefore I am asking, how many of you have Shraddha, faith, I will say 99.99% of you have faith. But Shraddha, even if one person, okay, maybe two people, I mean, I don't want to disappoint, in some way all of you have Shraddha. But if one person has that Shraddha, one person who has understood the importance of this knowledge and takes it to the end of the pursuit, then that is Shraddha. So it starts with faith, continues with consistent efforts, and it concludes with transformation of your personality. And it need not be the main goal. Of course, there's a main goal. There's a main goal. This is my purpose in life. I want to reach the ultimate. Or it could be I want to become a better human being, whatever. But again, your main goal, you can divide into subsidiary goals. Like to understand this knowledge, to gain clarity, I need to be consistent in these classes. So it doesn't matter what happens, no excuses. So you are here every Saturday, every Sunday you are here. There could be some genuine reason, I am not talking about that. Or it could be, fortunately I think we are on chapter 12. We are going to do 35 qualities. It's a fascinating portion. So any one quality may inspire you. And you tell yourself, no, I will make sure that I become that quality. Advaishta Sarvabhutanam, the first quality, not hating any being. So right now maybe I have some people I don't like, So I will work on myself till I remove this negative feeling from my personality completely. So you don't rest content till knowledge brings about transformation of your personality. So that is Shraddha. And therefore we are saying it is rare. But what is happening right now? Where is your focus? See, we described what is worship, what is prayer. Prayer or worship is 24/7 fixation on the Supreme Reality. Can we claim that? None of us can claim that. So yes, we have some kind of fixation. It's not that we don't have fixation. But none of us can claim we have that 24/7 fixation. Now, why can't we have that fixation 24/7 when you know that's your mission in life? See, I will not make this statement outside this classroom. People will say, no, we don't have that fixation. Here, most of you are committed to have that fixation. Therefore, you are here. Otherwise, otherwise, what are you doing here? So, why can't you maintain that fixation 24/7? You can use any word. You can say God, you can say Supreme Reality, you can say my ultimate purpose in life. All of them are synonyms. Why that fixation fluctuates, if it is fluctuating? Why?
Because of our desires.
It was Tim, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got confused. Well, last week you were here. Now you are attending online. Yeah, correct. What else?
Mine fluctuates because of distractions. There are too many things. You focus on this because it feels so important, and then next minute something else that's flashy and new that takes your attention. That's where mine fluctuates.
Yeah, good answer. Only thing, some things are so important. Only getting up from the dream world is important. Nothing else matters. You're in a dream. All of us have followed into a dream. World is an illusion. The only thing which matters is what? To get up, to come out of this dream, to come out of this illusion. So all these are correct answers. So right now, where is your focus? When I say you, it applies to all of us. It is on different facets of the world. Somewhere or the other you are lost. It's different for different people. It could be at a physical level, it could be at an emotional level, it could be at the intellectual level. Somewhere you are lost, somewhere you are entangled. A person could be entangled at the level of the body. So the whole life he wants to just indulge, like a sensual person. But that may not apply to everybody. Another person could be entangled at the level of emotions. It's all about emotions. Me, my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my this, my that. We're not saying it is wrong. So you're totally caught up in that world of emotions, due to which you cannot plant your thoughts on the higher. Another person could be caught up at the level of the knowledge. See, this knowledge itself, you could be entangled. I want to learn more, I want to learn more. For what? To become scholars? So that is how you could get entangled. So to the extent your focus shifts to the supreme reality, to that extent your entanglement reduces. See, it is not in black and white. 24/7 you're focused on supreme reality and you're not, there's no such thing. It could be 20%, it could be 30%, it could be 40%. So to the extent your thoughts are on the supreme reality, to that extent you're not involved in the world. So it's not black and white. But if you're totally involved in the world, how can you think of your ultimate mission in life? And we often give this example, Swamiji's favorite example. Like if you keep your finger in front of your eye, the thumb, and I'm looking at my thumb right now. I don't see the background, the whole thing is blur. But if I focus on the background, then the thumb is gone, thumb becomes blur. So where is your focus? If your focus is on the ultimate mission in life, the whole world goes out of focus, meaning you become objective. That's what it means. But if your focus is on the world, ultimate mission goes out of focus. If your focus is on the ultimate mission, world goes out of focus. So somewhere or the other you are caught up in life. So you need to find out where are you caught up, where are you entangled, where are you enmeshed. Could be anything. It has to be at a physical level, emotional level, intellectual level. So you analyze your personality, and that is where you need to correct yourself. Otherwise, it's not possible. It's a very fine definition. I may say it, you may by heart it. What is prayer? What is worship? It's nothing but a full-time focus on the supreme reality. But is it a practical statement? Yes or no? Is it a practical statement? What is the answer? It is not impractical, otherwise we wouldn't be discussing. But also some people may say it is not possible, and they are right. Any truthful person will say, no, mind fluctuates, like some lady gave the answer. It's a good answer. So why you get distracted? Why can't you remain focused on your goal? It need not be the ultimate goal, even the relative goal. That I want to learn this knowledge. It's now you cannot be consistent. You, in spite of your best efforts, why can't you be consistent? Because there are too many desires which are bringing you down in life. We're not saying it is right. We're not saying it is wrong. So right now, where is your focus? Your focus is on the world. You're lost at the physical, emotional, intellectual aspects of your personality. So only with your consistent association with this knowledge, that entanglement in the world reduces, relatively speaking. And to begin with, non-essentials, they go away. See, last month I was traveling. I was traveling from India, and there was a long layover either in Paris or London somewhere. 6-7 hours flight was delayed, so I think maybe 7-8 hours. And I was carrying Swamiji's book Vedanta treatise with me, and in the lounge, and I was like, nicely relaxed, and I was reading that book. So one gentleman, he came and asked me, what is that book all about, And then he started asking questions. So I explained to him briefly, 3-4 minutes. And then he introduced himself. I forget a name, even if I know, I won't be able to tell. He said he's a social influencer. And he showed me his account on the Facebook and all that. And there was some 890,000 followers. And then he was like shooting himself. He said, "Can I take your picture?" I said, "No, I don't post myself on the social media. I appreciate your, you know." Yeah, I'm not saying it is right or wrong. I mean, does it matter? 890,000 people are following me. Social influencer. What influence? I mean, are you able to influence yourself? Christ could not influence 10 people in his lifetime. What are we talking about? Krishna, most good many people were his enemies. I mean, he was not inimical to other people. So the best of the people, they were not known. They know it is not worth to be known. Who will know the worth of a truly spiritual person? Nobody. You have to be highly evolved to understand what that person is. So coming back, when you get established in this knowledge, non-essentials of life go away. Straight away everything will not go away. I mean, you want to post something on the social media, how many people liked, how many people disliked, and there are cases where people have, some youngsters, they have committed suicides. Yesterday somebody sent me an article or some write-up or something, a very well-known social media influencer committed a suicide, a lady. She jumped from the bridge and she committed a suicide. So what are we talking about? How many people to invite for the wedding? Yes, you can't be just yourself. Husband, wife, and nobody can. That is absurd. You invite whatever, 20 people, 40 people, 50 people, 100 people, whatever is your guest list. It doesn't matter. But 1 year, 1.5 years before the wedding, you are lost in the preparation. So all these non-essentials, I'm giving you some examples. And it is based on cause and effect. You can't pretend what you are not. So, to the extent your focus shifts to the supreme reality, to your ultimate purpose in life, how do you shift that focus? By your daily association with this knowledge. To that extent, non-essentials of life, gradually they fall off. It's like a student, sincere student. If he or she is focused on the ultimate goal, I have got admission in this Ivy League school, what happens to all extracurricular activities? What happens to the party? What happens to this? What happens to that? Slowly it will fall off, isn't it? But a student who is not sincere, that becomes the primary focus of life. Exactly same thing applies to all of us. So,
Teacher,
where is your focus right now? Ask yourself this question.
Teacher, I was reading an article this morning, and it said, "Faith begins where certainty ends." And it was really a kind of a powerful statement, because we've all been raised in some type of truth and certainty, and we get entangled when other people says, "Well, that's not the way I see it." Well, but everything comes in layers. And the more one practices their faith, in the practices of faith, they will get deeper into that reality that you're talking about.
Yeah, correct. So now you read the translation, verse number 2. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, the Blessed Lord said, "Those ever steadfast who fixing mind on me," that is prayer, that is worship, "endowed with Shraddha," we discussed what is that Shraddha, "them do I consider best in yoga." And the thought flow continues. So in verse number 3 and 4, he is catering to people who are at the level of formless worship. So far he has been catering to Arjuna, people who need form. So we'll chant verses 3 and 4. They're chanted together.
ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम्. सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तम् पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यम् च कूटस्थमचलम् ध्रुवम् सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः
Translation. Those indeed who worship the imperishable, indefinable, unmanifest, omnipresent, unthinkable, unchanging, immovable and eternal, having trained the group of senses regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, they also reach me. So here he is addressing people who are at the level of formless worship, who can get this knowledge, who are capable of reflection, contemplation, and eventually meditation. So, verse number 3, he gives some pointers. What is that supreme reality? And in verse number 4, he gives certain practices. When you do ABC, then only you can think of the higher. That's the connection. I'm going to explain. I'm just trying to tell you what is the thought flow. So, here he is talking about the formless worship. That the supreme reality is formless. Why it is formless? Because it is all pervading. And he is giving certain pointers or indicative definitions for us to understand what that supreme reality is. But supreme reality cannot be understood by any definition. It cannot be defined, first of all. It is beyond any definition. But some kind of indication, therefore we use the word indicative definitions. So he's giving us some kind of indicative definitions by which at least we will not have misunderstanding of what that supreme reality is. And some kind of understanding we will have. So there are, I think, 6 or 7 pointers. So what is God? What is supreme reality? It is imperishable. It is aksharam. Ksharam meaning perishable, aksharam meaning imperishable. So that which is not a substance. Any substance is perishable. Supreme reality is not a substance, so therefore it is not perishable. Supreme reality is the imperishable substratum upon which this perishable world exists. It's like ocean and the waves. Ocean is not perishable. Ocean is imperishable. But waves are perishable. They have beginning, they have the end, but ocean never perishes. So similarly, this world, the empirical world which we all are experiencing, which includes everything, the universe or the galaxies and whatever, it has a beginning, it has the end. But the substratum upon which this entire world is projected, that substratum is imperishable. That is God. That is supreme reality. So one way of explaining. And also it is indefinable. Anirdeshyam. It cannot be defined. Why it cannot be defined? Because language can define anything. Can you have that projection? Yeah, there you go. It is indefinable. So, why it is indefinable? Because language can describe properties. It is gunas, anything which has got properties. Activity, work done, name, quality, relationship. So, all these applies to the world. objects and beings of the world. But it doesn't apply to Supreme Reality. It is beyond the world. So therefore language cannot capture. Like a dream state cannot capture the waking state. That comparison will be useful. So language can define, you can read on the screen, properties, it means guna, activity, it means krama, work done, kriya, name, naam, quality, vishesha, and relationship, sambandha. So language can describe all this. But Supreme Reality or God is beyond the world. It is a substratum of the world. So therefore language cannot describe it. Also, Supreme Reality is avyaktam, unmanifest. Vyaktam means manifest. Avyaktam means unmanifest. A equals non in English. So the terrestrial world is manifest. It is manifest to you and me right now. Why it is manifest? Because terrestrial world is made up of various objects and beings, emotions and thoughts. See, I repeat, terrestrial world which we are experiencing is a general, broad classification. Is made up of objects, is at a gross level, subtle level you can experience emotions and thoughts. So all this can be experienced. You can perceive the objects with your senses, isn't it? You can experience your own emotions. You can conceive thoughts. So therefore we say it is manifest. But Supreme Reality cannot be perceived, Supreme Reality cannot be felt, it cannot be comprehended because it is a substratum of the world. It is a substratum of your personality. The whole world is supported by this unmanifest reality. See, it's like electricity. There are so many bulbs glowing here right now, right? I don't know, like 20, 30 bulbs. All of you are in different places in America. Thousands of bulbs we can see. There's so many electrical gadgets. But can you understand electricity? Can you point out, can you bring it in a test tube and show to all of us, hey, this is electricity. It is unmanifest. Many of you are driving EVs. There are so many EVs, electric vehicles nowadays. Where is electricity? Though you are driving EV, electricity is unmanifest. So similarly, the entire world, the substratum of the world is Supreme Reality. Nothing happens without Supreme Reality. The same Supreme Reality which is functioning in the world is functioning in you and me. But where is it? You're saying yes. What is making you say yes, Raji? She's a very sincere student. What is it which makes you say yes? Where is it? Where is it? It is the closest things to you, right? But also it is unmanifest. It's fascinating. And the same Supreme Reality is Sarvagatam, omnipresent, another indicative definition. It is all pervading. It is simple to understand. It exists everywhere. Why it exists everywhere? Because it is all pervading. Also, it is achintyam, unthinkable. So, Supreme Reality or God cannot be comprehended intellectually. You cannot understand that as a concept. Now I understood the definition of God and you're giving a lecture on God. It's not possible. Why it cannot be comprehended intellectually? Because it is the subject in your intellect. The subject cannot understand. It's a product. The product cannot understand the producer. With the flashlight, you can light up everything in the room. But you cannot light up the battery cells which illumine that flashlight, isn't it? So similarly with Supreme Reality, you can perceive, you can feel, you can think, but you cannot capture it. You can't perceive it, you can't feel it, you can't intellectually comprehend it. Because it is the subject in your perception, it is a subject in your emotion, it is a subject in your thought. It is not an object of comprehension. So therefore, it is unthinkable. After Bhagavad Gita is over, 18 chapters are over, somebody says, okay, now I understood the concept of God. Start Bhagavad Gita again. That is why we chant that. End of every chapter is a reminder to ourselves, that God cannot be really understood. It is achalam. Next, it is immovable. It is all pervading. Anything which is all pervading, how can it move? You and I can move from place A to place B because we are not all pervading. So since Supreme Reality is all pervading, it is immovable. It is dhruvam, it is eternal. So what is definition of eternity? It has to exist in the past, it has to exist in the present, it has to exist in the future. So nothing from the world qualifies this definition. See, right now we are experiencing 3 states of consciousness. We all are going through 3 states of consciousness: waking, dream, deep sleep. So as a waker, are we not experiencing a solid world? Did you not come from Rochester Hills to attend this lecture? Did you not come from wherever? So you can't say Rochester Hills does not exist. I can't say West Bloomfield does not exist. 1 hour back I drove from West Bloomfield. Also there is a solid reality. You have a family, you have a house, there is a zip code for your house, you worked for GM, it's a fact, it can be proven. So there is a solid reality to this waking state. But when you go to sleep, when you become a dreamer, when you become a deep sleeper, what happens to this waking world, which we all are experiencing right now? Right now it is solid. If somebody says it is not solid, just pinch yourself. I have to show, pinch yourself hard. I can't do that, but you can do it on you. Somebody says, no, world is not real. No, it hurts. Definitely it hurts. But when you become a dreamer, what happens to this waking state?
Disappears.
So therefore it does not pass the state of reality. Similarly, dream state. When you are dreaming, what happens to this waking state? It's a totally different realm of experience. But again, from dream sleep, when you become a deep sleeper, it's a state of nothingness. What happens to your dream state of experience? It is gone. So therefore, none of these 3 states of consciousness, our entire life revolves around these 3 states. They don't stand a test of reality. So only thing which stands the test of reality is God or Supreme Reality, because waking state is enlivened by Supreme Reality. Dream state is enlivened by Supreme Reality. Deep sleep state is enlivened by Supreme Reality. So it is the very substratum of your 3 states of consciousness, and it exists beyond. It's not that it's only restricted to these 3 states. It is everywhere. So therefore it is eternal. So he is giving 6 or 7 pointers for us to think of Supreme Reality, to contemplate on Supreme Reality, and then very quietly qualifies it by saying, if you do ABC, then only you can contemplate, which will lead to meditation. So he gives 3 general disciplines at physical, emotional, intellectual level. Sense control. If you are living an indulgent lifestyle, all you want to do is just have a good time. No, indulgent, sensual person. I mean, how can you think of Supreme Reality, right? So if you want to contemplate, forget about contemplation. Even for study, regular study, you need to have a self-control, isn't it? We all decide one day, let's go have a party at 9 o'clock. Why? Because Makarand is throwing a party. Just for argument's sake, he doesn't know the definition of party. Therefore, I am giving his example. He's shocked. Makarand and party, for argument's sake. And we all, there is nothing wrong in going. if this is what we are doing every Saturday, now what Vedanta, what Bhagavad Gita, what spiritual evolution? Are you with me? So some kind of basic self-control you have to study. Forget about contemplation and meditation. So he says, live a disciplined life. Then only you can stay focused on this knowledge. You can be a sadhak. You could be a seeker. Second, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. How can you entertain negative emotions and also think of supreme reality? It's contradiction in terms. I really, really hate my neighbor, and then I go to church or a temple and I'm praying there. I mean, I may go. It has got no meaning. And all beings, do you feel one with all beings? I mean, I often give example, that why we turned vegan. I'm not, I saw Swamiji turn vegan 12, 13 years back. Nobody knew. And some of us, we went and asked him, so Swamiji, why? Because the first thought was, what about my ice cream? That's other things we did not care, but some of us who are really fond of ice cream, we discuss, Swamiji turned vegan, but what happens to the ice cream? Then he educated us, do you know how you get milk? I'm not talking about like traditional farm where animals are kept and they are respected and all that, treated well, then it is okay. But I'm talking about like, good many sources where farm animals are not treated. What kind of a life is that? They are confined to a very small place the entire life and they are milk. I'm not saying it is right or wrong. It is for you to discuss. So find out. So that is identification with other beings. Whenever I buy a car, 3-4 times it has happened. The starting point is non-leather seats, and it's not easy. If you need a quality product, only 2 or 3 brands they offer. Everything is vegan, non-leather. So initially it may sound far-fetched. What is this? What kind of a life? But it comes if you understand rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. And then you do whatever is your capacity. It's not that you have to be fanatically attached to a particular concept. But are you identifying with animals? Are you identifying, forget about others, are you identifying with your own wife? If you say yes, how can you fight with her? As simple as that. Are you identifying people who oppose you? Those who cater to your views, obviously you will worship them. But those who oppose you, do you identify with them? You don't have to go and hug them. But do you accommodate them? You understand that they are innocent. They are not matured. Therefore, they have these negative feelings. So how can you have negative feelings and identify with supreme reality? Because supreme reality is the substratum of everybody's personality. It's a contradiction in terms. And regarding everything equally, meaning you see that oneness everywhere. I am different, you are different, we all are different. So there is heterogeneity. But what is that homogeneity in this heterogeneity is the supreme reality. God is the substratum of our personality. So very quietly he is slipping in these 3 disciplines. First he puts you on a pedestal. Yes, you are at a level of formless worship. So therefore I am giving you these pointers. But sir, can you do that? You can. You won't be able to do it if you don't have these basic qualities. So he's educating. If you have these 3 disciplines, then why do you need this knowledge? You're already at that level. So we all need to fine-tune our personality. And these disciplines, they were ingrained in all boys and girls in a Gurukula system. Gurukula system is a school system in India. Thousands of years back. Now it's all gone. So these higher values of life and living were taught to children from the age of 7, 8, 9 till 12, 13, 14. So therefore, when they grew up, that society was so, it was sattvic. I mean, everybody was well versed in this knowledge. They had these higher values of life and living. That's what it means. Since that tradition is gone, the onus is on you now. As a parent, as a leader, you need to learn this knowledge. You need to learn these values. You need to live these values. Others will automatically pick it up, which includes your children, which includes your grandchildren, your friends, your colleagues. Forget about what others are doing. But that was the tradition, this discipline of self-control. Otherwise, the average youngster today, I mean, he or she, they let loose their senses. It's more pronounced. What was America 40, 50 years back? There are a lot of Americans here. If you ask them what was their lifestyle as a student then, what they indulge in, and what today's youngsters are doing, I'm not saying everybody is doing that. Don't get me wrong. There is no comparison. So that shows the degeneration of values. So forget about all that. If you understand the importance of this knowledge, if you understand the importance of these higher values of life and living, you imbibe them in your life, and you become a reference point to begin with for your family members. There are so many people here, I don't want to pinpoint, at least 20, 25 in this classroom. Spouse took, husband took, wife took to this knowledge. Or it could be like wife took to this knowledge, husband automatically children, they took to this knowledge. So don't worry about the word. Otherwise, some people, they get into that, let's do this, let's do that. It's like that social influencer. You want to influence the whole world, and then you commit a suicide by jumping off from the bridge. The only person you can influence is who? So you influence yourself with this knowledge, with these higher values. Your children, your grandchildren, your enemies, don't worry, everybody will fall in line eventually. So these are the main points in verse number 2, 3 and 4, and we'll continue with verse number 5 next week. So this is a quick announcement. Can you project it on the screen? So on April 1st and April 8th, which is Wednesday, we have question and answer session with me. So it's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So whatever questions you have, feel free to email these questions. You can see the email, questions@vedantamidwest.org. So it could be from chapter 12, it could be from the previous chapter or any other chapter, those who have been attending for a long time. So definitely 2 sessions are planned. How many questions we have, Radha? 8. So definitely 2, and by the time more questions will come. So April 1 and April 8, definitely question and answer session. And some of you could be new. So even if you just participate and listen to question and answer session, you will learn. Personally, this is how I learned Vedanta in Vedanta Academy. 20-30% of the knowledge I got from Swamiji, I will say maybe 40%. But the rest, 50-60% is by participating in these either question and answer sessions or the small group discussions. So don't hesitate to participate, and also don't hesitate to send your questions as long as they are within the framework of what we are studying, what we are discussing in the class. So let's conclude with this for today. Any quick question based on what we discussed today? I'll give you a minute or two.
Sumitra.
Who?
Sumitra.
Sumitra. Yeah, it has to be a question. Yes, Sumitra?
Hi, good morning. So this is my first class with you, and
Welcome.
thank you for this. This was very, very interesting. So I think my question is, you were talking about, consistency in terms of your practices. And so this is the part that I struggle with. I mean, my question is, and that is the reason why I joined this class, to gain a little bit of clarity on this. My consistency in terms of my practices, is it because I am conditioned to do it? Because, that's the way I've grown up. or is it because it is coming from a genuine place of trying to get better? How do I know whether I'm doing it for the sake of doing it because that's how I've done it, or whether it's a genuine thing that I'm doing to try and get better? Is there a way of telling the two apart?
Yeah, sure. See, therefore, I said right in the beginning, the faith, it is not blind faith. So you want to follow this path because you have faith in this path, in this knowledge. But it has to be backed by your logic and reason. Why do I need this knowledge? See, it's like, why do I need to be healthy? I'm giving you a simple example. If I'm not convinced about health, that I need health, I mean, any amount of lecture from me is not going to help me. But once I understand the importance of being healthy to achieve anything in life, right? I mean, I need to do regular exercise, I need to eat nutritious food. Automatically, I will be more consistent. I'll be consistent in my exercise, I'll be consistent in eating healthy food. But it cannot happen overnight. See, the whole life we have been living a particular lifestyle. It applies to all of us. Now, you get exposed to this knowledge, and however sincere you may be, see, you can't suddenly change the course of your life, right? So, therefore, to begin with, even if you are attending, if you want to attend these sessions once in a while, as far as you are concerned, you are consistent. That is the definition of consistency. Even if once in a month you come, at least thoughts are there. 3 times you don't come, your thoughts are there. Okay, I missed it. I mean, I will give you 10 out of 10 marks initially. The thoughts are there. So as you understand the importance of this knowledge, slowly you will become more and more consistent. So don't worry. I mean, overnight nobody can be consistent. But you have taken a step. That step is in the right direction. So that is the beginning of consistency. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yeah, Raj has a question. Yes, Raj.
So having lived in corporate world for 40 years,
Correct.
every time you go for a meeting, if you take one nugget away, life was well spent, time was well spent. Today, every session I pick something up from you,
Right.
and I enjoy it. So today you brought up the question of vegan, and I respect people who are vegan.
Correct.
And you gave a very good reason why Swami said you have to be vegan because of these animals being
Right.
held in small places.
Right.
But at the same time, I look back. I look at eggs, a simple example of eggs.
Right.
And now they've categorized. These eggs are from chicken that can have got free pasture. So people are consciously buying those eggs versus the others
Right.
to discourage the people who are doing the wrong way.
Correct.
But if I were to say, stop taking milk, the whole world becomes vegan, wouldn't that be hurtful to the animal? Because somebody has got to milk the cows. And if farmers say we're not going to milk the cow because there is no customer for it, poor animal is going to suffer. He's not going to feed the cows. So how do you ask?
Right. Yeah, I got a question. So Raj is asking, if everybody goes vegan, what happens to the milk industry? This is his question. I'm putting it in a very blunt way. See, forget about all that. I mean, whatever your conscience permits you to do that, right? I mean, am I drinking milk so that the milk industry can be supported? You understand the absurdity of the whole thing. I am drinking milk because I need milk. So if the simple answer is, each one is at a different level of spiritual evolution. And Swamiji never told us, we found out, therefore I am giving you that example. No do's, no don'ts here. Next somebody will bring up the meat eating. We are not saying you should eat meat or you should not eat meat. Who are we to comment on anything? What happens to the meat industry? Another person will bring up a point like drugs. What happens to the drug industry? I mean, where do we draw the line? I'm magnifying. Whatever your conscience allows you, you follow your conscience. If your conscience feels guilty, if you consume milk or use leather product, as far as you are concerned, it's not the right thing to do. My conscience does not prick, maybe. If I eat meat, like you gave example of eggs, then as far as I am concerned, I am right. So it's like it's not that one formula for all. So as you evolve spiritually, you become more and more acutely aware of suffering of other beings. So again, it's not on the ladder of, the ladder of 1 to 10. If somebody's at a level of, let's say, 1, and somebody's at a level of 9, it can't be same. I can't take that stance, okay, everybody vegan. It's not correct. So whatever your conscience permits at this level, and it depends on your growth, my growth. So you follow that particular lifestyle. So as far as you are concerned, that is the right thing for you to do. So we can't look at people who are below us, and I'm not saying you're doing that what they're doing is wrong. They're not yet grown. But the bottom line is, how can you not identify with other beings? This is the bottom line. If you feel one with them, is their suffering not your suffering? So somebody ties you your entire life in a small place, and whatever they do to you, how will you feel? That example applies. But coming back, follow your conscience. You can't go wrong. So if your conscience does not prick, it's okay at this moment. But as you evolve, you become more and more acutely aware. That identification increases, and then you become more sensitive about hurting others. So that's the way to go about.
Maybe Anita is.
Anita. Yes, Anita, last question, please.
Sorry, it might be a big one, but how do you know what is your goal in life?
See, there is only one goal for every human being. It's very, very simple. There are absolutely no complications. What you want, what I want, what anybody wants is happiness in life. Nothing else. Whatever you're doing in life, either consciously or unconsciously, what you're looking for is permanent happiness. That's it. And that you're not going to get in the world. You're looking for that happiness in a wrong place. We all are looking for happiness in the wrong place. At the level of body, mind, intellect, there is no happiness. It comes and goes. It's not true happiness. So what we are looking for, what is your goal in life, what is my goal in life, is get that permanent happiness. And unless and until you get that permanent happiness, infinite happiness, you will not be happy. And that is what is happening to all of us. Doesn't matter what you get from the world. You may get best of the things. Everything could be surplus in your life. Plus. Still, you're not happy. It's not permanent happiness. Something is missing. So therefore, we are saying that the only goal of any human being is to find that permanent happiness. There is no other goal. All right, Anita?
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's conclude for today and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you very much.